don't know history, then you don't know anything. You are a leaf that doesn't know it is a part of a tree. This is a famous quote by Michael Crichton, and it shows how crucial history is in our lives. History is not merely just a word, but is the one that shaped our society today. Okay, let me ask a real question here. How many of you here that loves history? Specifically to read about historical buildings, please raise your hand. I want to see. I see a lot of hands here. Great. Knowing history is amazing because from that you can know thousands of stories that happened back then, and to see the buildings remain till today, it's astounding. Some of the buildings' architecture was remarkable. For example, the Great Pyramid of Giza, Hanging Gardens of Babylon, Statue of Zeus, Temple of Artemis, Mausoleum of Halicarnassus, the Colossus of Rhodes, and the Lighthouse of Alexandria, that they were made as the seven wonders of the world. History has always been my cup of tea. Therefore, I joined a history club back then when I was in high school. I was the president of the club and I was able to advocate various activities for the school to get to know history better, including the seven wonders of the world. Therefore, I have quite a lot of knowledge about this topic. First, I will talk about how the seven wonders of the world are decided. Second, I will discuss why the old seven wonders are being replaced with the new seven wonders. Finally, I will talk about the importance of these buildings. Knowing history is amazing because from that you can know thousands of stories that happened back then, and to see the buildings remain till today is astounding. Let's start with the first main point. The seven wonders of the world are decided by using two ways, by a great writer and votes from people. They are determined by a great writer and debater of CDON, National Geographic 2021. But who is this man? He is a great writer and poet known famously for his list of seven wonders of the world. It all started when he saw these spectacular buildings and he thought of writing a poem about it that reads, I have set eyes on the wall of lofty Babylon on which is a road for chariots, and the statue of Zeus by the Alpheus, and the hanging gardens, and the colossus of the sun, and the huge labor of the high pyramids, and the bulbous tomb of Mausolus. But when I saw the house of Artemis that mounted to the clouds, those are the marvels lost their brilliancy. And I said, Lo, apart from Olympus, the sun never looked on aught so grand. However, this beautiful poem was not discovered until AD 1500 when the people started to be captivated with Antipater's poems and many other short poems and stories about great wonders. Well, we can all say thank you to them, for we can now know about the amazing seven ancient wonders of the world. As modern as the world is, so is the way of choosing the seven wonders of the world, which is by letting people vote for them. This method was first carried out in 2007 after 10 million people voted in an online contest organized by the New Seven Wonders Foundation, a Swiss corporation. All of these places are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The sites chosen in 2007 are all architectural wonders of tremendous scale built on 4 continents by ancient and medieval civilizations and are among the world's most visited tourist attractions. Shastri, Mattielli and Mullin, 2017. With those votes, the new seven wonders of the world known today are officially the Great Wall of China, the Taj Mahal, Petra, the Colosseum, Christ the Redeemer, Chichen Itza, and Machu Picchu. Now that I've talked about ways of the seven wonders of the world are decided, which are by a great writer and votes, I will now proceed with my next point, which is the reasons the ancient wonders of the world are being replaced with the new seven wonders. Not everything is going to last forever. The same thing happened to the seven ancient worlds, resulting in them being replaced with new wonders. What are the reasons? Most of them have been destroyed either by human or natural disasters. 2 of the wonders, the Temple of Artemis and the Statue of Zeus, were destroyed by fire, meanwhile 4 of them, the Colossus of Rhodes, Hanging Gardens of Babylon, Mausoleum of Halicarnassus, and the Lighthouse of Alexandria, were destroyed by an earthquake, and only one that remains till today, the Great Pyramid. But for today, I want to focus on the Temple of Artemis's story. I think not many people know the story of how the temple was engulfed in fire. The temple was burnt on July 21, 356 BC because of a human called Herostratus in an attempt to immortalize his name. He set fire to the wooden roof beams of the Temple of Artemis. The Ephesians put Herostratus to death and outlawed anybody from using his name as a result of this incident, TX 2021. The second reason is one of the wonders is said to be non-existent. The wonder is called the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. There isn't a lot of direct evidence to show that the gardens ever existed, National Geographic 2021. Furthermore, they would have required a lot of water and a complicated irrigation system to keep things lush if they existed, as written by Young Brown 2020. But if people want to imagine what the Hanging Gardens of Babylon looked like, they were described as architectural engineering marvels by those who claim to have seen them, including Greek authors Strabo and Diodorus Siculus, National Geographic 2021. They were believed to be packed with an astonishing array of blossoming flowers, delectable fruit, exotic greenery, and spectacular waterfalls. Now that we have learned about the reason that we're being replaced, let's move on to my last main point, which is the importance of these buildings. Humankind built these historic buildings without realizing that they will hold great significance for humanity. Today's sculpture can be said coming as an inspiration from the historic buildings built. I will take the Statue of Liberty that was built in 1875 and finished construction in 1886 as an example. The statue was said to be inspired by the Colossus of Rhodes that was built in 290 BC. The Titan Helios, the male personification of the sun, was depicted in the ancient statue, but it has a feminine descendant, the Statue of Liberty in New York, based on 19th century ideas of what the Colossus looked like, were Archaeology 2012. Fun fact, people nowadays might not know exactly how the Colossus of Rhodes looked as it got destroyed 60 years later after being built, making it the most building of all the ancient wonders, Young Brown 2020. Therefore, people who wonder what the Colossus of Rhodes looks like can imagine it by looking at the Statue of Liberty. Those structures are also important as it shows humans' capabilities in building something, despite not having technology or heavy equipment back then. As we all know, the structure of the Pyramid of Giza is towering and enormous. The 13-acre pyramid is thought to contain approximately 2 million stone blocks weighing between 2 and 30 tons each. History 2021. This may sound usual to us, but to think that they built these when they don't have heavy equipment as we are now amazes me. In addition, the nearly symmetrical Egyptian pyramids were constructed without the use of modern tools or surveying technology, which is incredible. History 2021. Now, people might think that these people were forced to do so, but it's not. These individuals were well-fed. According to a study released in 2013, AERA's Chief Research Officer Richard Redding and colleagues discovered that every day enough cattle, sheep, and goats were slaughtered to provide 4,000 pounds of meat to feed the pyramid builders, Jarvis 2016. And that was my last point for today. Now, let's recap back of what I've talked for today. First, I talked about how the 7 wonders of the world are decided. Second, I discussed why the old 7 wonders are being replaced with the new 7 wonders. Third, I talked about the importance of these buildings. To conclude, knowing history is fascinating because it allows you to learn about hundreds of events that occurred in the past, and seeing the structures that are still standing now is incredible. It's no loss for a human to educate themselves with knowledge about history, precisely about ancient architecture, even if it doesn't take place in our country. Those buildings represent the civilization of people from many continents and allow people of other ethnicities to gain a better understanding of one another. I'm Eva Nardini Ventilazzi. 7 Engine Wonders is my talk, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you.